Okay, so picture this AI that can just nail any math problem you throw at it. Like a human, boom, solved.
Right. But what if it's not really like a brilliant mathematician? What if it's more like, like a parrot?
Yeah, just mimicking stuff.
Just mimicking.
Yeah.
And that's actually what we're going to dive into today. The kind of surprising limits of these big, fancy, large language models, the LLMs, when it comes to actually reasoning about math.
Yeah.
We've got some really cool excerpts from a brand new research paper from Apple.
Oh, nice.
Along with some summaries, FAQs, all that good stuff to like break it all down and make it easy to digest. So.
Yeah, what I find really interesting about this is it goes beyond just the, AI is bad at math thing. It's like it actually digs into how we're evaluating these models in the first place.
Ooh.
And kind of shows how we might be doing that wrong.
So it's not just can it get the right answer, but it's like the process. Like,
yeah, but
how is it getting there?
Exactly.
Does it even know what it's doing?
Yeah, does it really understand?
Interesting. Okay. So the research starts off with this data set called GSM-8K, which has become like the gold standard for testing this whole math reasoning in LLMs.
Okay.
And it's basically a bunch of grade school math problems, just like arithmetic word problems, things that you need to like think through step by step to solve.
Okay, so like not advanced calculus.
No, not at all.
Right.
This super basic, just like, can you follow the logic? Can you apply like basic math operations?
Got it.
And they use what's called chain of thought prompting. So it's not just give me the answer. It's like show your work, just like you would back in elementary school.
Oh, so you can really see the steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see the reasoning process. Make
Yeah.
sure it's not just like guessing or memorizing or whatever.
It's not just pattern matching.
Right, exactly. Now here's where things get kind of juicy.
Okay.
The Apple researchers, they found this thing they're calling token bias.
Token bias.
It basically means even small changes in how a problem is worded, especially the numbers, can totally throw the AI off. Wait, so it's not even the math itself, it's like the way you ask the question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the specific words or numbers, they seem to latch on to those without actually understanding what's going on mathematically.
That's wild.
It is, yeah. Like, for example, an LLM might totally nail a word problem about someone buying 3 apples.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you change it to 5 apples, or even just change the person's name, suddenly it's like, whoa, I'm lost.
Whoa.
Wrong answer. It's really weird.
So it's like they're not getting the concept. They're just like,
They're like clinging onto the surface
yeah.
instead of the underlying math.
Wow, okay.
And to dig into this even more, they created this new data set called GSM-Symbolic.
GSM-Symbolic, what is that?
So think of it as like a way to remix those original GSM-8K problems.
Okay.
They use these like symbolic templates to generate all these variations, changing the words, changing the numbers, but in a very controlled way.
So it's like they're trying to trick the AI. Exactly. Yeah. Like how sensitive are you to these little changes? And what they found is that as the problems get more complex and have more steps, the AI's performance tanks and the answers get more and more all over the place.
So even with like pretty simple arithmetic, if you add more steps?
It just can't keep up. It's like the reasoning chain breaks down.
Wow. And wait, they didn't stop there.
Yeah.
Right? They went even further.
Oh, yeah. They went full-on evil genius mode with this next one.
Okay.
So they wanted to see just how vulnerable these LLMs are to irrelevant information.
Okay.
So they made what they call the GSM-Noop dataset.
GSM-Noop.
And this is where they take those same math problems, but they add in these completely random clauses that should have nothing to do with the answer.
Like what?
So imagine like a problem about buying school supplies, right?
Yeah.
But then they throw in a sentence about like inflation last year.
Like how would that?
Yeah, you'd think the AI would be like, okay, whatever.
Ignore that.
This doesn't affect the price of the school supplies now. But the results are crazy. Some LLMs, their performance dropped by like over 65% on these new OPE questions.
What?
It's like they're just blindly grabbing any number they see and doing something with it, whether it makes sense or not.
Wow. So it's not even like they're trying to make sense of it. They're just...
Nope, just applying operations willy-nilly.
That is a little alarming.
Yeah, it shows a really deep issue with understanding context and relevance.
Not just pattern matching.
Way beyond that.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. Even when they gave the LLMs tons of examples of these nuke problems with the correct solutions, it didn't help.
So it's not just a lack of data.
No, it's like a fundamental flaw in how they're approaching the problem.
Wow.
Which raises some really big questions about the limits of these current LLMs and what it even means for an AI to understand math, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal, right? Like, where do we go from here?
Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, why this matters so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so AI can be tricked by these kind of silly math problems, but like, how often are we really asking AI to do grade school math anyway?
But here's the thing, math. It's everywhere. It's like the
Yeah.
foundation for so many fields, science, engineering, finance, you name it.
Right,
So if we
yeah.
can't trust AI to get these basic things right, what happens when we start relying on it for like really complex, high-stakes stuff?
Ooh, I see what you mean. It's like building a house on a shaky foundation.
Exactly. Like imagine AI designing a bridge or developing a new drug.
Right.
If it's messing up basic math, the consequences could be like catastrophic.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's not just about math, it's about reasoning. Like, can we trust AI to make good decisions when it really matters?
Absolutely. And I think it shows how we can't just assume that AI is super smart just because it can like write a poem or whatever.
Right.
We need to be way more careful about overestimating its capabilities.
Okay, so then what do we do? Like, how do we fix this whole math reasoning problem in AI?
Well, for starters, we need better ways to test it. You know, it's not enough to just throw like standard math problems at it. We need these more like devious tests, like the GSM-Symbolic and the NOOP stuff.
Oh yeah, to really like poke at it and see if it breaks.
Exactly. We got to see if it can handle curveballs.
So we need tests that are specifically designed to trick the AI.
Yeah. See if it can actually generalize its knowledge, not just memorize stuff.
I like that. Okay, so we're basically trying to push AI to its limits.
Yeah. And by doing that, we can figure out where it needs to improve.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what AI can't do, but I'm also curious about what it can do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even though it has these issues with math, it's still got some really impressive strengths.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the whole language generation and translation thing.
Right, exactly. So these LLMs, they're amazing at processing and creating text. Like they've been trained on so much data, they can basically write like a human.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they can pick up on all those subtle patterns in language structure, grammar, even style.
So even if they don't totally understand what they're writing, they can still make it sound good.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy. They can write poems, code scripts, musical pieces, emails, social media posts, even translate languages super smoothly.
That's pretty wild. So even if they're not ready to be mathematicians, they're still pretty darn useful for all this language stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And as they keep getting better, who knows what else they'll be able to do.
Yeah, this is really making me think about the whole future of AI. It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
like this powerful tool, but we need to make sure we're using it the right way.
Yeah, responsible AI. That's the key.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the not so bright side of AI and math. But what about the stuff it can do? Where does it actually shine?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even with those hiccups in math reasoning, LLMs, they've got some serious strengths in other areas.
Like you mentioned earlier, the language stuff.
Yeah,
Like they're pretty amazing at writing and translating.
right. Oh, absolutely. One of their superpowers is processing and generating text. Like they've been fed so much data, they can practically write like a human.
Wow.
Yeah, they can pick up on all those little nuances in language, like the structure, the grammar, even the style.
So even if they don't fully get like the meaning or the logic behind the words, they can still make it sound good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaky, actually. Like they can whip up poems, code scripts, musical pieces, you name it.
No way.
Yeah, emails, social media posts. They can even translate languages super smoothly.
That is wild. Okay, so maybe they're not going to be replacing mathematicians anytime soon, but they're still super useful for all this communication stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally. And as they keep evolving, who knows what else they'll be able to do.
It's kind of exciting and kind of scary at the same time. You know?
I totally get that. It's like this powerful tool, but we got to make sure we're using it wisely.
Responsible AI.
Right.
Exactly. Well, this whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener. It's amazing to see how far AI has come, but also how much further it needs to go.
Absolutely. It's a constantly evolving field. And it's up to us to keep pushing it forward in a way that benefits everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And to our listener, we encourage you to keep digging into the world of AI, ask those tough questions, and be part of the conversation. Because the future of AI, it's in our hands.
Well said.